chocolate or a birthday cake. I love doing both burpees and jump lunges, but I'm gonna go with burpees because if there is a day when I only have 10 or 15 minutes to work out, then I'll just spend those 10 or 15 minutes straight doing burpees. And then I feel like I got such a great workout. Autumn, fall, of course.
Chaney party vocalist of death metal band Entheos.
Hey Ramona, hope you're doing well. Excited to answer these questions for you. I was always into sports. I started playing softball when I was 5 or 6 years old until the time that I was 18. I played basketball and soccer along the way. I was really into street hockey or rollerblade hockey, I guess it's called. What? Roller hockey, that's the name for it. I was always a really active kid and my family did encourage. I wouldn't say that it was necessarily healthy. I think that my parents did try, absolutely, but it wasn't the total emphasis. I'm from the Midwest. There's a lot of fried food, a lot of casseroles, fluff, desserts. I was a kid in the 90s. In pop culture, the emphasis was on being really skinny. So of course that rubbed off on me, and of course it affected the way that I saw myself when I looked in the mirror. I never had an eating disorder, but I've always been conscious of those things, of course, and I think that started at a really young age.
I think the 90s gave us all body dysmorphia. It's so nice to see that now women want curves and muscle.
Just feeling like I wasn't being very active and getting out of shape a couple of years after I graduated from high school, probably 19 when I really started hitting the gym full time. And I was 22 when I started getting really in tune with the things that I was eating. I just knew that I felt better eating better and working out. I've never been a huge hard drug user or cigarette smoker. I do smoke weed. I just enjoy doing it. I love the benefits that come along with it. So I go through different periods with alcohol. For instance, right now, I'm not drinking at all. I haven't drank in the last month and a half or 2 months. Last year, I didn't drink for 6 months straight. And then I went on tour and I was in Europe with my friends. And of course, you want to have a celebratory drink. But for the most part, I'm just not a huge drinker. I do enjoy having a vodka soda before we go on stage, but I just don't enjoy doing it in excess. I think that when you drink a lot, it steals time from you because you are spending the next day or 2 or 3 hungover and eating crappy food, and it just totally throws me off of my program. Off tour, I'm just not really my thing at all. If I go to a show, I like to drink a Red Bull. That's kind of more what I do, at least for the time being. The thing that has been the most important for me in having good stage energy is doing a lot of cardio, especially in the month leading up to a tour. Cardio is not something that I always do. I'm big into body weight workouts, kettlebell workouts. So I do cardio in that way, but I don't necessarily walk the stairs at the gym unless I'm getting ready to do a tour. And what I've actually been doing lately, because I have a tour coming up next month, we bought one of those ride-in-place bikes that we have in the other room, and I've been riding that and doing vocals at the same time, and that is proving to be an incredible task, but it has helped my breath control so much. And breath control is something that I pay a lot of attention to because as a death metal vocalist, you have to know when exactly to breathe in order to get out all of the things that you're saying in a song. So it's such a huge part of what I do that cardio just kind of goes hand in hand with it, along with running around on a stage and, you know, just the different positions that you find yourself in. Like in Colorado, it's a lot harder in the mountains to catch your breath and breathe, and cardio really helps in situations like that.
It's so interesting to see how training in her daily life differs from her training when she's going on tour. Most of the musicians I've had here on interviews prefer to do some kind of resistance training in their daily life, but ramp up the cardio before they're going on tour.
Luckily, my band and our crew all really love to go to the gym, so we do prioritize hitting a Planet Fitness as much as we possibly can on tour. Some tours, that's every single day. Some tours, that's every 3 days. We try to stay at a hotel that has a hotel gym. If we know that we're going to be on a tour where we won't be able to go to the gym a lot, one that has a lot of long drives and early load-ins, then we'll take a set of kettlebells and everyone will kind of work out together. So it's a lot of fun. Staying healthy and eating right on tour, that's a little harder because of course some nights food is catered and it's not healthy food. Other nights you'll get what we call a buyout, so some money toward whatever food you're going to eat that day. And we do try to stop at grocery stores a lot so that all of us can kind of, pick out exactly what we want, because we all have different dietary restrictions in my band. And there are places that luckily have some pretty good whole food options, which are like Chipotle. Taco Bell is really good if you're in a pinch and you want to eat something healthy. They have protein bowls that are great. So if you really pay attention and you're trying, I do think that you can make eating healthy work, but it's definitely the harder of the two between working out and eating well on tour. And of course, with all of that being said, like when I'm in New York, I'm going to get a slice of pizza. So sometimes you just excuse the diet for a little while so that you can, taste the delicacies of the world while you're on tour.
These are great tips for those of us who do road trips. I personally try to get to a really big supermarket before my road trip because the bigger ones have more options.
All right, crowd surfers, get the fuck up here right now.
So I got in an electric scooter accident. I broke my nose really badly and I essentially cut open my upper lip so you could see my teeth through my upper lip. My lower lip was ripped away from my jaw pretty deeply. That greatly affected my vocal performance because vocals are incredibly reliant on the mouth and mouth movements, and you don't really realize until you get in an accident like that how much the way your nose feels affects the way that you do vocals, because opening my mouth became really painful even for my nose beyond my lips. Luckily, it was in a period of time where we were not on tour. We were writing an album and it pushed the album back a bit, but that entire album, which is the last album we put out called Time Will Take Us All, became about the accident. I dealt with it through writing, which is how I deal with a lot of things in my life. Writing is incredibly cathartic for me, and through just taking the time to heal and not trying to speed back into doing vocals no matter how much I wanted to. And the healing process, it took about 3.5 or 4 months to be able to do vocals to the full extent of what I could do before.
That was a pretty nasty accident. She had over 100 stitches.
About 30 minutes before we play, I will change into my stage clothes because, it's like changing into a uniform. Then I feel like, all right, I'm here to do my job, do vocals, get this out. I will sometimes have a vodka soda and kind of do a bunch of jumping jacks, just work out the pre-show jitters. And I'll do a little bit of warming up, about a minute and a half or 2 minutes of full-blown screaming, and a minute and a half or 2 minutes of full-blown singing is kind of my sweet spot. I have to do it every day. If I don't get dressed at that 30-minute mark, then I'm just like, I'm late. I'm running late. 100%. If I am not working out or eating well, then I notice myself getting winded a lot easier. So I just try to work out and eat pretty well in order to be in tip-top shape to perform. So I really enjoy being in nature. It's so important for me. As a musician, I work at my house all day. We've got a studio and I'm in the house working. So I love going outdoors. I live by a lake. I try to go and walk around the lake. But beyond that, I really love just working out. I don't know if getting in the sauna counts, but that's my #1 favorite Chaney thing to do. Right now, I'm working out between 5 and 7 days a week because, like I said, we have a tour coming up next month, and I try to really work out a lot leading up to tour. Normally, I work out 4 or 5 times a week, but of course, like anyone else, I go through periods in my life where I don't work out for a month, and then I go through periods where I work out every single day. Things change over time, and if I feel like I need a rest day, then I give myself that rest. I love doing it every morning before I get my day started when I'm really amped up. Right now, I've been learning some Cannibal Corpse songs, so that is on my workout playlist. New Entheos, because we're in the studio right now. Always Metal, Dying Fetus, Converge, Circa Survive. It all just depends on what I'm in the mood for that day. Sometimes it's weird 70s prog. And I'm also one of those rare people who really enjoys listening to podcasts at the gym. Or maybe that's not rare. I don't know. It's mostly vegetarian and vegan with some fish thrown in. And that's kind of like my preferred way to eat. I've been full-blown vegan, full-blown vegetarian, eating meat. It just sort of depends on how I feel. My ideal meal is a piece of salmon, Brussels sprouts or asparagus, and then like a roasted potato, and it is making my mouth water as we speak. I just tend to feel the best eating whole foods personally, so that's really kind of what I stick to. Hey man, if I'm craving a cookie, then I'm gonna eat a cookie. I try not to eat those every day. I love desserts, like a brownie sundae. Oh my god. I don't eat that stuff all the time, but of course I give myself a little treat every so often. This is the perfect conversation for me because working out is a huge part of how I deal with that. And writing lyrics has just been something that I've turned to my entire life. It's my way of getting all of my emotions out on a page and just spilling the way that I feel. I try not to pay attention. I think that it's just sort of the nature of the beast of wanting to put yourself out there as an artist. There is no one that I look up to who is not getting some kind of hate in some comment section on the internet. And honestly, I just don't have enough time to pay attention to that for that to get me down, because after all, I get to make music for a living. I'm living out my teenage dream. So that to me is more worth focusing on than a negative comment. I like to focus on positive comments if I'm reading comments at all, because I don't want the people who support me to get overlooked because of people who would say mean things about me. Those comments say more about the person leaving the comment than the person that they're commenting about. I've never felt driven to leave a mean comment about someone on the internet. The only way to move forward is to push through and overcome. That's how I deal with setbacks, because the other way to deal with it is to give up. I know damn well that I'm not giving up on something that I care about doing. A lot of the time, those setbacks can be a huge learning lesson. The reason for the setback is because you were kind of pushing on the wrong thing and you should go a different direction. So I more take that as a sign that I need to move focus elsewhere or change something about the way that I'm approaching the thing that I'm doing. Keep pushing, because you're never going to achieve the things that you want to achieve if you give up. In fact, giving up is the number one way to be the most certain that you're not going to achieve those things. We all are going through something at different times in our lives, and life gets hard and can get us down. I 100% understand, but it's important to not let your mind get the best of you and to push through those things, because I promise you that you will become a stronger person on the other side. You can use things like working out and eating well and focusing on your body and your mind to ensure that you are well equipped to push through those hard moments in life. I'm really sending my love to all of you out there, and whatever you're going through, just know that this too shall pass. You got this. Much love, you guys. Ramona, thank you for having me. Sending my love. I hope you all have a beautiful day.
Chaney is one of the nicest people I've interacted with. You have got to check her band out, Entheos. Next, another powerhouse on stage with an incredible vocal range. Go check out Ellie Bolin of Null Positive right here.